Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the 2023 SISU Racing Tour. This is a tour that's going on for 7 stages in total. We're on stage 2 today in Douce, France for one lap of 25 kilometers. We'll be covering across the A, C, B, C, and D categories, looking at the overalls and the women's overall standings as well, as it is a timed GC event across all 7 stages. Dave, is super exciting, but real quickly, as we get into this, why don't you give us a little bit of a background about what SISU is, as some people might not be totally familiar with it?
Hey, you bet, Nathan. So Sisu is a Finnish concept that it's really hard to translate into English, to tell you the truth. But when you look at it, it really comes down to, I think, 3 words: grit, resiliency, and bravery. I somehow, though, Nathan, feel like I use Teppo Lorio as the perfect example of what Sisu is personified. A lot of folks out there would know Teppo as a longtime Zwift racer, but it really, in that concept, there's definitely an element of just be a good person and have fun and get out there, enjoy nature. And it really is true to what Sisu has been all about. So, as you mentioned, they've already been racing, but this is going to be the first real stage, isn't it? Last week, a time trial.
Yeah, 100%. Last week we did have it. And we have a really interesting GC actually playing out here, which is really cool. The way that they have organized all of this. You can head on over to sisu.racing. You click on the GC at the top of the page, and they have done an amazing job updating this every time that there is a race that goes on. Currently, let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. We do have about 1:55 to go to the start of this stage, and we'll be checking in with the A's to begin with. But this is where things currently stand with the women's overall. D. Schwegerl there at 46:34. A solid 3 minutes back out of Finland is Mona Kazniemi for Sisu Racing. Justine Walsh there for Crush Pod. Larissa Heisbauer for Team NL. It's going to be Leanne Daly in 5th place for Crush Pod. Carly Graham, and then Carmen Rajkovic. Summertime's out there at 4:35 back in the gap at 51:09. Good to see summertime. It's going to be Carolina Lainon, and Catwoman has shown up, it looks like, riding for RTR. That's your top 10 in the women for the overalls. The men's, Dave, why don't you run us down the top 10 here real quick as we get going. At 43:11 is the fastest time from Nicholas Becker.
Yeah, that is just flat out flying. He's from Denmark, which is fitting. Denmark is certainly producing a lot of world-class cyclists these days, pound per pound, ounce for ounce. That nation is amazing. Then you can see with the second quickest time at 43:12. And Nathan, what are we looking at there? Basically 1 second difference, even just a little bit less than that. So that one went right down to the line. That's an OMG rider out of America, John Scarmoto there. In third, after the first of 7 stages here. I said first, that was definitely a first stage. I wanted to correct myself. The first real road stage or scratch races today. It's Daniel Mundell there out of the United Kingdom. He's a BL13 level velo rider in third. And he also is, Nathan tied on the 10th of a second there. So this is incredibly close. We've got 3 riders within a second after, close to what was that the time trial last week? 35K, something like that. And they've got 3 guys within 1 second. That's going to be a great series to look forward to for these riders. Then we've got Mads Urup there, the DZR rider. So 2 Danes sitting up in our top 5. Luca Zanoska, a very familiar name, the Team Castelli rider out of Italy. He's going to be sitting in 5th. And then you've got Brian Diddy in 6th, Rob Wood for 7th, James Young in 8th, Tom Birkingham in 9th. And this is your top 10 GC after stage 1, including Martin Collins racing out of Ireland. So those are the 10 riders that have already found the top 10 here in our Sisu Tour. But today we're going to be heading fittingly to France, Douce, France, that we'll have a chance to look at a well-known parcours.
Oh, and apologies, guys. We're hanging out in the pens for just a moment. 28 seconds into the race, it looks like here. 0.5 kilometers as we jump in with the back end of the pack. 85 starters in this
Wow.
A category and the 53 kilometers per hour, Dave, right from the get go. They have absolutely hit out at only 25K total. I think they are excited to keep things moving pretty quickly here.
I got a feel in July that there's an extra energy when you race your bike, watching the Tour de France. And I mean, cycling owns July, no doubt. And these riders are getting after it. You can see if you didn't come in with your engine warmed up, you're paying a little bit of a price right now. It looks like these riders are going to be able to start fighting their way back as we are just 1 kilometer in, Nathan, and this one's going to be spicy today.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of struggle on Zwift here today. We'll see if we can make sure that things keep on moving here. A little bit of trouble loading the bikes. We'll see if we can make sure we have the coverage here. But interesting enough, it looks like as the riders here, we'll see if we can jump back in, Dave. Let's talk a little bit about how
After
things
yesterday,
have been playing out.
Nathan,
Yeah,
I had to
at least
apologize for horrible
that's all
internet
good.
yesterday here. Yeah, that was definitely on me. Well, or the royal we, as they say. But in that case, the internet has been spotty for me.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll jump right back in the racing in just a moment here, as we got to make sure that we do have the images. But they obviously have hit out pretty strongly here, as you can see, and at 85 riders total. Dave,
Yep.
now this GC here, the update does come from a bunch of stages that are now events that are run per stage. So stage one ran on a certain day. They even have a makeup stage though that they can do. So this is based off of time, so you can jump into any of these events. And if you don't set the best time that you were absolutely looking for as you race amongst them, you can kind of as a pack try and look for the best times you possibly can. So you're looking sometimes, I think, for the most aggressive and competitive that you possibly can find.
Absolutely. I mean, Nathan, that really is the tactic, is especially a day like today. There's a good chance that 20, 30 of these riders will have the same finishing time in that group, right? So when you look at the bonification available, that time trial was critical. And to have three riders within 1 second creates a really great dynamic for the racing at the front. When you think about it, if you can make a breakaway stick and get away with a couple of those guys where you're danger men, not in a group, and convince a couple other guys or women to work with you, you might be able to find a couple seconds on a day like today. But that's a tough road to hoe.
100%. Now, we may have to make a little bit of an adjustment here, everybody. Apologies again. But it looks like something's going on with the Zwift setup that we currently have going on here in front of us. So we're going to see if we can jump on across to the racing as quickly as we possibly can. But we do have to get a second Zwift going here, it looks like, on a regular build. So we'll just have to fill here for a little bit here, Dave, and maybe we chat a little bit about yesterday's women's series. Gabriella's actually in and amongst the men, it looks like, in the A's right now. We did see
Really?
an awesome walkaway yesterday in the women's series, and we'll be covering that across. And it looks like for some reason, suddenly, we do have images
Hey,
out of nowhere.
great.
Or at least we did. We'll see if it holds up for us. And,
Although, Nathan, I don't want to step on that point you were just making, because shout out to Gabby. What a comeback she's made. She solo attacked way out. I'm going to say that was 10K out, Nathan. You might remember better than I, but it was a long solo attack. They had every advantage back in the small chase group of about, I'm going to call it 12 riders that were chasing Gabby, with riders like her teammate Maria Marb sitting in that group, and they ended up going 1-2 beast mode Rose yesterday. But you're right, Nathan. We can jump right into this action here, as where it looks like the pictures are solid. This is a legit peloton flying around France right now. Do say France is the course. This is the Aqueduct KOM. That's its feature, without any doubt. I might have spoken too soon.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do here. As I've never actually seen this problem before. This is an interesting one, but we'll try and stay with the images as best we possibly can. Does look like Next is showing up out here today. Good to see. I think there's a little bit of attack there from them off the front as they do move. It looks like to
Nick Taylor, I believe, is one of the next riders, that James Barnes, back from the Olympics. Great job there, James, and congratulations on your gold medal.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. As we do have some participants in the Olympics jumping in here. It was. We've been looking forward to
Haven't been
seeing
able to
that
say
for
that
quite a
before.
long time. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
There's a lot of folks at Zwift that's got to feel really good deep down in your soul to be able to legitimately say that. Zwift, part of the esports Olympics that took place just a little over a week ago. And James was on the teams were combine squads, and James representing South Africa. He lives in New Zealand, but he had a chance to be on a 4-person, 2 men, 2 women team that ended up picking up the gold medal. Fantastic racing. What a production that was. Just so cool to watch.
As we're looking now, I think we may be pulling in some images a little bit better here. Again, apologies everybody, as that's just the reality of sometimes the technology. It looks like Tim Cartwright's jumping in here. Interesting to see Cartwright jumping in the middle of all this. One of the most OG Zwifters that we know of in the world of Zwift racing. He was a part. We talked about the OG Racing Series this last month, and that rider actually goes hand in hand with OG Racing and the KISS Racing team. So Tim Cartwright used to be someone who could just walk away from the fields early on, time trial specialist. Now with the level though that has jumped into Zwift racing over the couple of years and the development of the sport, I think it's a little bit different reality here at this point for Tim, and I think he essentially replicated himself by creating
Right.
such a high level.
I wanted to shout out the SISU rider that we've got in our field here today as well, Jarek Mazurek. I'm a big fan of Jarek. He's been riding for SISU for quite a while. And the attacks have gone, Nathan. So here we go. That's going to be Mr. James Barnes himself. So it's this is going to have to be taken seriously. One of the most respected esports athletes on the planet today, and it looks like, is that John Verm? I didn't see John on my start list, and it is John Verm. So another talent coming from the exact opposite side of the globe. So and Blomqvist is there from ESRD. Here we go. Heavy hitters called to the front, Nathan.
Yeah, it looks like Blanco's here from ESRT making another move. Great to see the action here at the front. We do see steering getting involved
Look at the
here,
Zwift
as
play.
it looks like, yeah, Verm now also there. And one other rider getting involved, that's going to be Burner. So 4 riders trying to make a move off the front here. Clements here just keeping things steady at the front of the peloton. Now we do see, is that going to be Hexagon? Or I believe the orange jersey there. Interesting. Who is this orange jersey?
Is it Verm? It may be John Verm, I believe. I'm not that absolutely. I'll let you work on that, Nathan. It's going to be Nozaki getting up there as well, the Japanese rider on Australian Hump Day ride. This is very active, though. So they're stirring the pot right now, no question. The Aqueduct KOM comes up in a bit. We talk about that being the feature where you can really, but there are a few lumps, Nathan. There's 3 distinct lumps that you go over in this sector that they're working through. They've gotten through that now as we settle in for about 4K of flat until we hit what is going to be the feature climb of the day. Although it's not that significant, Nathan, you got to make hay while the hay is in the field, and that's your moment, I think. Although it's, again, you're only at the halfway point of the race with it being pan flat from that a little bit of a descent down to the finish here. So extremely hard to get away on a day like today, but these riders will be absolutely giving her.
This kit, this is what I was confused about. I've never seen this kit before, this new Chapter 3 kit. I don't know if it's a new Chapter 3 kit or not, but it's going to be Kev Fowler, who was making his way to the front, made a little bit of a move there to try and go across on the S-Works with the Venge here with those disc wheels, DT Swisses there. Fast setup. And that orange kit, though, I was like, is that a Hexagon? It looked a lot like the Hexagon kit, but no. Chapter 3. Good to see Herd out here represented, and interesting not throwing down the Herd kit though, but looking good in orange here as they make their way around.
I feel like
8K.
we're at the beginning. Sorry there, Nathan. I feel like we're at the beginning of the new season right now, and you got to really stay on your toes when you're looking for kits out here and the riders having fun with their Zwift avatars. This group now has settled down just a little bit. I think the reality, Nathan, when you saw that James Barnes attack and how quickly people responded, he realizes that everybody's brought their A game to this group here today. Kev Fowler, though, nice to see that name back.
Yeah, good to see Kev Fowler out here and making some moves with the rest. Now, I wonder what Next is going to be up to here because, anytime that they do show up with multiple riders, you can be sure that there is going to be a plan to try and make some moves. The next section out on course that really anybody has to be thinking about, interesting little aero power up on the front there. Not sure what's happening with that use. Maybe thinking about the aqueduct that's coming up here, but that's going to be Hutters there from HMB. Interesting use. Not sure it's going to play out too well for his favor after using it. But now, as we look through, it looks like Gabriella's staying tough. Is she the only woman in and amongst this A group or not?
Nathan, it's funny. You're reading my mind. I was just scanning through, and I believe you are correct on that. I would really hate to miss someone, so I'll keep looking. But right now, Gabby is clearly finding another level. No question. Good for her. And this is what you see the top women doing these days. This is common for athletes. If you're looking for that extra, that little bit, this is a great technique to do it in real life or racing out here on Zwift. So good for her. That's legitimately punching above your weight. We're looking at now, though, group fanned out across the road here on Tuesday, France, 25K of racing. And as you can see, we're coming up pretty quickly on 10K in. Average speed today, Nathan's going to be, pretty close to 45 kilometers per hour, to tell you the truth. It's a quick day out on the bike.
Yeah, and it's interesting with the times that they're looking to set for the GC. It's really interesting the way that these guys are riding because at 131 beats per minute, 46 kilometers per hour.
They're not doing themselves a favor here.
No, yeah. I mean, some attacks off the front going to help things out, but they may just be looking for the result on the day, especially with the broadcast being there sometimes, Dave. I think that the sprint to the line is what they're more concerned about with the show. But
I would agree.
It gives a little extra motivation around that one, doesn't it?
It does. This is a stage race, and it's not an omnium, so this isn't points based. This is going to be time based. We had a chance, as Nathan was showing us, the standings coming out of the time trial. It's stacked like cordwood tightly at the top right now. So I think a lot of these guys, Nathan, and here you go. I love someone that zigs when everyone else zags, and we've got an attack.
Well, Becker is extremely motivated because he is our current GC leader, so his concern is obvious. At 43.11 currently right now out of Denmark, the rider after one event is saying, look, boys and girls, we got to get on a move here because I've got Scarmato right on my heels at 43.12, less than half a second, so he's looking for every second he can get. And I think regardless of whether or not he wins this outright today, it's in his advantage to make moves like this and cause the pack to ramp things up.
100%, Nathan. And in all honesty, he wants to put an olive branch out there and say, hey, does everybody want to race a little bit harder, please? I'll buy ice cream at the finish. Because right now, Scarmato, just to be clear, as you were saying, Nathan, that there's a lot of riders taking place in these events, and it's Scarmato his competitor is not actually in this race, correct? I'm making sure that's true, but he could be racing at another time. And if that group decides they want to race more aggressively, we just watch the GC lead evaporate. I'm correct on all of that, correct?
Yep, 100%. And so
I'm not seeing Scarmato in this field. He isn't. So all of your analysis, Nathan, is spot on, and it looks like it's starting to work. I think he's rallied the troops here.
Lots of power-ups being used here as they come over the top of the aqueduct. The main punch here out here today is going to be the aqueduct, besides the sprint to finish here. As they come over the top of this KOM, we do see aero power-ups, drafting powers, feather power-ups being used all the way back in 59th place here at this point as they ramp it up over the top at 52 kilometers per hour. Who is leading things out here? It's going to be the vet from HMB. Out of Belgium. Up and over the top, though, it's going to be James Barnes. Now, is he going to make a counter move over the top as Gustavo looks to hang on to his wheel? 5.6 watts per kilogram, keeping it super steady here. 172 beats per minute. James Barnes, the South African, he let me know he needed to get into some racing. He said, Nathan, what should I be doing right now? I need to find a series to really get in and amongst some Zwift racing as he ups the fitness back after that Olympic result here. And this is exactly what he was looking for, is a field that's stacked like this.
Nathan, this is what the ordered, no question, is right now. The accelerator goes down to the floorboard. Look at the shape of this group. These guys have gone all in. Now, we are coming up quickly on the halfway point, but the one featured climb has already been done and dusted, so they put paid there. I don't know that we had one rider dropped out of this group, and that shows you the depth that this field has. This is old school fury at the front right now, and that's exactly, we were talking about our GC leader, Becker, what Nicholas Becker, the Dane, and what he's looking for. But Nathan, it's gone back the other direction now, back to what he wasn't looking for, fanned out across the road with nobody really taking the initiative. So he's going to have to go back to the front and try to re-spark this fire.
Yeah, and it looks like I want to talk a little bit about this, as you said, the depth of this field and like what kind of level that they are actually looking at here. I mean, this is the first field that we've seen like this. I would think for me is since almost ZRL, Dave. Really, the kind
Right.
of level and amongst each other here, and really between the two main events, I think currently happening right now, it is going to be the SISU Tour as well as the Chasing Tour that are currently going on with the Chasing Yellow here. Nicholas Becker again here off the front, and I have a feeling those are the two main series that are attracting this kind of group now as Becker makes this move. Now, speaking to that here, the current
Can I
teams
say
that are, go ahead, Dave. Yeah.
Oh, really quickly, Nathan. So this is a great example of how stage racing works. Nicholas Becker, he knows that if he keeps doing this, he's not going to win today, but he's here for stage racing. So he's just hoping he can get some guys to come up and get the speed faster. You get what I'm saying? He's fighting a different battle than some of the guys back in the group behind him, and it's not working the way he needs it to right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through here and see. I mean, I think BL13, if they do have Mundell involved out here today, Mundell is currently sitting third overall, half a second or so, zero point 0.6 back if Mundell is in here. So I have a feeling that
He's in a different race too, Nathan.
okay,
I believe.
so
Yep.
interesting. No Mundell. I'm trying to look at the top 10 here at least, James Young, Rob Wood,
I'm
Brian
doing the same
Diddy,
thing.
Lucas Zanaska.
Diddy's
I
here.
mean,
Diddy is in this race. That's
okay.
the first rider that I can identify as in this field. Look at this action. It is spicy up here right now. So this is going to be, again, Nathan was on cam with Becker. We're going to jump over to James Barnes. Now, James Barnes is your danger man, no question. He might not be on top form, but James Barnes at 90 or 85% is better than almost anybody in esports right now, Nathan. This is going to be interesting. So they're down to around 10K of racing. That's going to be, I mean, we really have about 12 minutes until this one is put paid, and there goes BL13, and that's Utley. Utley is a legitimate danger man, and then up and over the top, that's going to be John Verm. Nathan, it's gone ballistic out here.
Gustavo Pasil Cartez now on the front now, and now another arrow power up coming on through with Birkinshaw with a counter attack coming on through, and this is going to be a rider, it looks like, in a ZZRC kit. I'm unfamiliar with actually Birkinshaw as he makes this move at 185 beats per minute, and this is what it's all about on these flats, isn't it, Dave? These little grinder, like these little bumps can be a launching pad for speed as he ramps it up to 49, but nope, the pack has him still within his sights. He keeps it steady at 4.2, but that's not going to be enough for this pack. You need to go all in for a solid minute or two to get any kind of distance before they are going to let you go. And now we do have Butts here coming on through from Works, and then it's going to be the rest of the pack bringing it all together. A couple of struggling off the back here, Dave. The pace obviously is picked up with a couple there going backwards.
We shifted into another gear over the last minute here. Birkinshaw really was a spark plug, no question. Now, Nathan, when you look at it, you're absolutely nailing. By the way, great camera work there. Incredible job, my friend. So as we're looking now at the front of the peloton, it is Grupo Compacto, just a couple of riders who've been tailed off, and they might actually have a chance to get back in if they back off the gas, which they are again. So this is a legit bike race that we've got going on, and you can feel the ebb and the flow. And this is that absolutely the mental chess match aspect of bike racing that we get to play out. Why is what racing on Zwift is so much fun. And Nathan, it is another push right now, but everybody's been able to stay in the wheels for the most part. It's starting to look like if you want to attack out of this group, you're running out of opportunities to make it stick. I honestly think that previous attack that we saw from Tim, he was hoping to get a couple of riders like James Barnes to come up and join, and they weren't going to take the bait.
Yeah, and it looks like all back together, as you were saying here. They did not take the bait. Nobody willing to make the work. But I have a feeling, Dave, with the amount of time that's left here, about 9K or so, there's plenty of flat roads on the back end here. I have a feeling there's going to be a couple more attempts as we do
I
have
agree.
we have a solid, what do we got? 9K
You have to
here.
try.
Somebody's going to give it a go. At a group that's like this, you put it down to a sprint. And I mean, how many are in here that can go full gas up into 16 watts per kilogram or so? We're looking at a front group of over 50 riders still at this point, almost 60 riders. I mean, you're really rolling the dice. So I have a feeling they're going to try and split this still.
Nathan, if I'm Decker, our GC leader overall after one stage in the SISU Tour, it benefits you so greatly to attack early with reckless abandon because that's going to lift the pace. And then once you've lit that fire, it becomes a wildfire, right? So why do you follow my technique here? No chance he's going to win the race here today, but if he wants to hold on to GC, he needs these guys to go faster. One way to do that might be just to initiate things early.
This is warning bells. Tim Cartwright has done this many a time, 6.5 watts per kilogram off the front now. And this is a rider who can just TT away from the likes of
dangerous.
Almost any pack. And are they going to let him go? Now, the question is, I haven't seen him do this in many years. Will they give him the leash to work with here? Utley now kicks a little bit, but they're going to need more space than 1 second for this to matter.
And, there's too many riders who are still in the hunt here for something like that. It wasn't quite, but Utley going for BL13, that should have the alarm bells ringing, and of course it does. You're going to see, every Swedish rider out here, Nathan, is going to be incredibly attentive to these moves, although it is starting to put some real pressure through the middle part of the group. You can feel that right now. As a matter of fact, here we go. Another surge is coming. This might be the moment of this bike race right here, right now, Nathan. So watch out. That group is now twice as long as it was. You're going to see a lot of the Zwift play is in effect, and it's fun to watch how riders use that aero power up being thrown down. We're back with Tim Cartwright now. Tim Cartwright from KRT is having an exceptional ride here, Nathan.
Now the aero power up, that's a really risky move here coming from Intri.
I think it backfires, to tell you the truth.
I mean, using that aero power up at this point, he would have to jump in big orange numbers here. I mean, I would have to see 9-10 watts per kilogram to get the kind of distance and speed that he needed to get away from this
But they're
group.
in your draft.
Exactly.
The problem is they're in your draft.
Well,
right?
That's the thing. He didn't jump 10 watts per kilogram. He jumped to 6-7 thinking, oh, this will be enough with an aero power up to go off the front. No, not at all, actually, here at that kind of speed.
Not with these guys. Not with these monsters. I mean,
no,
yeah, absolutely.
Way
good analysis
needed
Nathan.
there. So now we do see it, though.
This is a good
numbers
example.
Here.
Right. This shows you what it takes to even get any kind of separation at all. And as Nathan said, 1 second is not going to get it done. And now this is really leveling up. You're going to see some orange numbers starting to pop as the riders watch their watts per kilo, all now consistently going up over 6 watts per kilo. If you want to be involved, that's going to be Hoax, the hydro rider. That's a name it's nice to see moving up to the front. It's on now here, Nathan, as we're quickly coming up on 6K to go.
A little bit strung out, but still 3 across, 4 across. Going to need a little bit more power at the front and more willingness to get that slingshot to really work out for them. Look at Becker here, though, sitting in at the back. Pretty happy probably with the way things are going now at this point as it starts to ramp up. He instigated twice, Dave, and then we got into the back end of the race here and everything, all the gloves started coming off. It worked out for him. He stoked the fire, and now it's lit.
It reminds me of America celebrating the 4th of July, our Independence Day, Nathan, of that guy in his backyard who keeps trying to get his barbecue going, and he goes out and lights it, and he goes out and lights it, and it goes out, but this time he's got a full flame going. And this, we'll see if it's going to be enough. We'll take a look at our results, but right now as they come down to it, this is the business end, and it's starting to look like a sprint is coming.
Oh man, but Dave, this one is there's such a setup for this one with about a little over 4K to go. It's a really difficult one to get right. People can go very early and succeed on this course, so it'll be interesting to see how they ramp this one up. It is a serious timing, and a lot of times riders will get a little bit confused and go just a tad bit too early, which really tends to make it into this all-out gallop from such a far ways out. The timing on this one's so difficult to get right because of the way you come in.
The 2 sprints. Yeah, Nathan, I think the 2 sprints where you get easily fooled into going too early. Richmond on Governor there, or actually, I'm not. I think it's not actually Governor Street, but at the finish line in Richmond and here, uh, you really have to resist that urge to hit out and just play that patience card. And I have a feeling, well, it'll be interesting to see.
It really tends to put everybody on their limit a little bit, though, and you got to ride those wheels so incredibly perfectly to find the right positioning. And with the new pack dynamics, too, there is a reality that the way that these sprints work out, the pack dynamics really make it so that positioning early on, as early as this right now, make a big difference as to whether or not you're going to be involved in the right place and right positioning here. And you've got to hold on to such high wattage and then kick over the top. It's interesting how the large pack like this, the course, as well as the new pack dynamics have really made it a lot more like in real life sprinting, in my opinion, where you got to fight for position and it doesn't end up being just a kick to the line. It's an all out brawl with the wattages right up until it's time to kick.
The never-ending battle is in positioning. Then you finally have to rely on your animal instincts, but also realize that you've got multiple decoys and false flags out there. And so you need to react and use your instincts, but you can't get tricked. And that is the razor's edge that a sprinter has to operate on. Right? You can't take the wrong bait, but you can't also hesitate at the wrong moment. And that's why these athletes are so incredible in what they do, whether it's in real life or with Zwift. There's a little bit of physics, some science, and then a little bit of black magic in sprinting as well.
We're getting into that 3K to go marker, and people starting to get a little bit antsy. We already saw power up being used there, Dave. Things are getting spicy already, and like I said, they want to go early, and there it is. There's the move.
So now we've played the card. The trump card has been thrown down onto the table. We're at 3K to go. This is going to be the Neopharma Nutrition Rider. We'll get an ID because this is full commitment. Nathan, he got that gap that you talked about. So now he's made his first of 3 major plays. So this is a 3-step attack. You've got to get the gap. Now you need to sustain before you go all the way and start scraping the bottom of the wattage barrel. But I'll give this man this much. This is a wattage cottage that we're looking at on the front right now. Here we go, Nathan. The finale has begun.
Jeez, and he's got 3 seconds. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on to 3 seconds, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're going to ramp up so incredibly fast. The speeds are being absolutely insane. He's still got a K&a-half to go. How long can he hold it? 191 beats per minute, Dave.
The fact that he got this gap has me incredibly impressed. If he can hold on, this is going to be a mind-blown moment. This Belgian is going absolutely nuclear. We're going to watch that now. So, oh my goodness, Nathan, the gap is continuing to hold at 4 seconds. Is that enough? No, it's definitely not. But it's enough that he's in with a shot right here. He's been in the bank. He's got the money, and now he's got to feel like he's in a getaway car, and he's even watching the fuel gauge hovering on empty right now, Nathan. He's got to be tapping on that gauge, wondering is there going to be enough. He's going to hit 23K in, so a little more than 1K. Actually, I say a little more. When you're in his perspective, it's a lot more, and here they come. The charge of the light brigade, Nathan, looks like they're going to make the catch inside the final K of racing. Back to you, Nathan. It's finale time.
Now a second go here with 1K to go marker underneath the Flamme Rouge. It is going to be Bogarts making a move now. It's 2 seconds back to the pack here, 186 beats per minute. They come underneath the bridge, and there's going to be one more underground they go under here, and here we go. Now Bogarts are fighting to the final, but here they come over the top. It's going to be a really early move from Nick Taylor. Next, presented by Insured now, making a move with an arrow power up and over the top, but can he hold on at 65 kilometers per hour? They're going to come again. It'll be at 70 miles per hour, though, at 70 kilometers per hour, I believe. Gustavo now leading things out, 11 watts per kilogram. Nick Taylor trying to hold on. Can he do it? I'm not sure. Right there to the line. No, there's still another turn. Like I said, Dave, this one always is a tricky one. The Rhino Rider unable to hold as well. Here comes James Barnes flying, but it is going to be Becker here neck and neck as they come across the line in just a second here. Becker holding. Barnes on the wheel. Barnes is right there. It's going to be Becker, though. Becker. No, Barnes at the last second. Oh, it's right to the line. Becker and Barnes. Between the two, James had a second kick, it looked like, as he held on to the wheel of Nicholas Becker, our current GC leader in the A's. Dave, like I said, this one is so tricky to get it right. There's 50 different kicks you got to do at different times to follow wheel after wheel after wheel, and then finally launch your attack. And Becker timed it almost perfectly, but it's going to be between him and Barnes for the A's.
So after all of that talk leading into it, Nathan, I fooled myself multiple times. It felt like that race had 4 finishes. I mean, you want to talk about that is an experienced racer's finale. And those two that we saw, Nicholas Becker, the GC leader overall, and the wild card coming into today, James Barnes, the eSport Olympic gold medalist there. To me, Nathan, well, you know what? Why guess? We're going to have to go look at the back-end API to have an accurate result for you there. But either way, Becker does himself a huge favor. That's Nicholas Becker. Again, he had a 1-second lead coming into our SISU stage race. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out after we look at all the data being collected from this week of racing. But what a finale that was. And boy, I will say, obviously, Nicholas Becker gets his credit. But James Barnes shows us what real esports experience is all about, Nathan.
100%. Now we are looking to jump around here a little bit. I was hoping that we could get into the B and C category, but we're having a little bit of trouble jumping across. We'll see if we can make sure to do so. Let's take a quick look here, though, at the replay of what just went down there between the riders, as it was a solid kick to the line there coming in from the likes of Beck. Look at the speeds as they came through.
Pandemonium.
Absolutely insane as it was. Becker versus. Now I want to go a little bit further back actually here, as this played out a lot further back than this actually. As we take a look here, Becker's launch and the timing. I really want to highlight how patient you had to be. Look at the pack behind here. Barnes with that move, Taylor with the move. I mean, over and over again, rider after rider trying to make this happen. We had even attacks from McKay out, as we saw with Taylor. Rhino comes over the top. I thought maybe that would be the move. He had the distance. But
so did I.
Then we take a look behind, though, and here comes the speed. Look at the speed differentiation there, Dave.
Well, and we really just when it see the green flashing, that we just started into 200 meters to go at that point. And that was when, as it should be noted, the race really was won or lost out there. It's amazing after the efforts that Nicholas Becker made that he was still able to go to the wattage well and find a few to use here. We're going to look now, watch the green jersey. That's going to be James Barnes, as James Barnes now will insert himself into the conversation over the last, we're into the last 75 meters at this point, Nathan.
Yeah, as you see, Barnes, I think if we take a look here, slow motion, we'll get it right to the line. We'll get the official results here in just a second. But
so if it was a photo finish, Barnes won. But here's the thing that, and Nathan, please correct me if I'm. We'll just go one. See, that's the shot that I would have to say. But again, back end API. James Barnes is racing in New Zealand. Nicholas Becker is racing in, I assume, Denmark. That's where he's from, and we'll just assume that he's in Northern Europe right now. So the computers, Nathan, have to merge all of this information together. When we talk about back-end API, that's what we're talking about. They're looking at all the riders' data files and making sure that the man who had the quickest time over that line is actually our winner. That picture is going to be really close. It might even be exactly right, but it also might be slightly different. Am I correct in what I'm saying?
It may be. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's also angles there too that we need to take a look
actually,
at.
And even from that, that could be a photo finish, to tell you the truth, when you look at it there. Just because Barnes is going faster at the finish line, the real question is whose wheel touches that line first. If you took a vertical line and ran it from the front of the finish line straight up into the air, whose tire would have touched that line first? And from those two images, you can't tell because you're not stopping it exactly on that line. Photo finish is quite complicated when you think about it.
100%. Well, we are having a little bit of trouble jumping across. I apologize, everybody. Again, as we get back into broadcasting,
I'll take
for
the blame.
Summer.
Well, I'll take the blame.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dave. As we're looking to jump across the categories, we aren't getting any ability to do so. So,
well,
We can
While you're
take a
doing
quick
that, I
look.
did want to note, Nathan, that I have really appreciated you've made. I realize it isn't working out the way we wanted right now, but you've made a huge effort. We've been doing this over the last, it seems, for a little while now. That the broadcasts have been all about trying to make sure we get the B's, get the C's, and get the D's on air as well. So thank you for doing that. I apologize it didn't work out today, but the real thought here is it's the effort that counts.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do here. There's a whole lot of jumping around we'd have to do if we're going to be able to make it happen. But let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the results here. We do have the B category results so far. We'll jump across to the C's as they do come across the line. Interesting, Ryan Cole, it looks like, from the ESRT, taking it down here for the B category. Dave, why don't you take us through this top 10 for the B's, and we'll see what we can do for the A's, C's, and D's.
Thanks, Nathan. So it is the Gold Cup right next to his name. That's got to feel good, Ryan. The SRT Rhino rider, Ryan Cole, taking the win. And you can see that, 3.7 watts per kilo over 31 minutes of racing. Chris Christensen, silver medalist today. Way to go, Chris. Marshall Witkowski, the dirt rider. Love dirt. Great job, Marshall. Bronze medal for you, my friend. Karsten Noes in fourth today for Team NL. It's so a Netherlander. Jeff Rooney in fifth today. And Jeff did a lot of work, as did D. Vembrand there, the outrider. Congratulations on a fifth place for you, Jeff Rooney, and a sixth place for D. Vembrand. It's going to be Justine Brost taking seventh place. Max of the ZwiftCharts.com team in eighth today. And Craig H., another Rhino, his teammate, the SRT Rhino rider Ryan Cole, taking the win, and Craig H. in the top 10 with a ninth place today. And then rounding out our top 10, great job, Bart Kettles. So there's your top 10 for the B's, Nathan.
And in with the C category, let's go ahead. I believe the C's have just come across the line, and we'll go ahead and bring those in as it is going to be AJ Isaacs from TFC at 33.37. Steve D. Alessandro Coalition there. Morton Gardschult there from Jensen. Gardschult Jensen, followed up by Lee Mitchell for the ART team in fourth place. Alan Reed coming across the line for ART as well in fifth. It's going to be John Hardisky for SISU Racing. The couch potato for Sisu in seventh place is James Ballock from Coalition in eighth. Danny C. TBR. And it's going to be Morton B. Jensen. All coming across the line there within 2 seconds of each other. And let's go ahead and jump across to the A category, and then we'll see if the D's have come across as well. But it looks like James Barnes, Dave, just barely nipped it at the line. The photo fishing that we saw was correct.
And he showed up to work, 4.6 watts per kilo out there today. So the Olympic esports gold medalist is back with another gold. We'll have to call him James Gold Barnes. Great job, James, taking the win. Nicholas Becker, we'll see, but certainly he did himself some favors there, not only taking second on the day for Fusion Colaquick, he also did himself a favor in the GC battle. Tucker of the Beast teams ends up with the bronze medal. John Verm of ESRT in fourth. So the mighty Swede right up there. Very efficient out there today as well. Kuba Standerski taking fifth place. Kaldvar in sixth. Good job, Christian. Tros Abelsdorf. So Abelsdorf in seventh. Chad Butts of the eWorks Rad team in eighth. Martin Sunderland of ESRT for ninth. Again, in our A's, highly combative race today, and it's Braje Bergen in 10th place there. As we take a look at our A's, and I don't know that the D's would have finished yet. They're probably honing in on the finish line on today's Douce France course, this 25K featuring the Aqueduct KOM. Nathan, have the D's made it home yet?
Not quite yet. I do want to shout out, though, to any of the ladies that have been racing out there real quickly. I don't believe on our current results boards that we can separate things out. So apologies on that, but we'll see if we can get that in the future for this Sisu Racing on the day. But Gabriella does take first. Gabriella Guerra there in amongst with the A category. I think she may have been the only woman racing amongst the A's. I'll take a look through the B's here real quickly. And I think in the B category as well, we do have, it looks like Sylvia Berni from Spain, riding for the Hispania team, actually. It looks like. I'll go ahead and bring us into view while we chat through these. And then it is going to be Mona Ken Gazniemi there, also in the B category. Luisa Blamires is going to be third place. That's your top three, and I believe the three that we're racing in the B category. For the C's, amongst the ladies, definitely want to shout out all the ladies that had jumped in and amongst them here. And it does look like it is going to be Jamie Larmer. There's someone named Barefoot Angel. I'm liking that name, Barefoot Angel, out on course from our results.
That's summertime's friend.
I wonder if it's got to be summertime's friend.
Right.
That's a good call there, Dave. Out on course, she's gonna be taking that second place, and I believe that is going to be third place, as Medel Ovi is going to be the second place out there for the ladies. D category still out on course, everybody. And as we are unable to get images, we're going to just send our apologies, and then we'll be looking forward to the next race that we will be broadcasting. If you want to take a look on over at our YouTube, you can see the schedule over there. Head on over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com. We do have a broadcast schedule as well up on our Instagram as well. Upcoming next will be stage number 4 that is on July 11th. Tomorrow we will be covering all things racing throughout July on the Wrap podcast. If you haven't checked it out yet, head on over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com. You can hear all the previous episodes. Episode number 51 tomorrow. And then we will, it's not scheduled yet, but we have just confirmed we will be doing Chasing Tour, Chasing Yellow on Friday. So all about the tours. I wonder why that is for this month, Dave.
I love it. I can never have too much Tour de France. But then again, I can never have too much Giro or Vuelta either. But man, this is my favorite month. Great job today, Nathan, on this. It's certainly fun to see our friends at SISU alive and well. This is one of the coolest things happening on planet Zwift, to tell you the truth, is the SISU organization. Much like Dirt, I would say, they've got huge numbers. They've got tremendous energy. And if you're looking to get involved with the club, man or woman, and want to have some fun, then talk to our friends at SISU.
100%. We do actually have D category results, and I do know people like to see those. I know they
absolutely
do like to see those. So let's go ahead and this is just some images we can bring up here to throw them over the top. But there it is. Go ahead and bring us through Mateo Gomez.
Hey, you bet. Thanks for doing it, Nathan. And yeah, absolutely. This is important to us. So Mateo, congratulations. You're the gold standard, my friend. Great ride today. That's a solid time, 37:13 out there. He had a 1 second advantage, so holding off that field sprint behind him, and it was a dangerous Rhino coming in hot. Way to go, Joe Martin, taking the silver medal today. Nick Taylor will win bronze. This is, again, our Ds. It's going to be 4th place, chocolate medal for Brad Allen. William Ning in 5th. He's racing for the ART team. A herd rider ended up in 6th place today. Ben Lawrence, way to go, Ben. It's Panjono, the R2 rider, in 7th. SK, riding for LJCC in 8th. Liam Hollis for 9th place, so finding the top 10. That's awesome, Liam. And then Neil Quilter, another Rhino up there. Not a dangerous one, though, Nathan. Just a regular Rhino in 10th place there. So that's a look at our Ds, some spirited racing, a lot of good things happening in the D and C category, and we love it, and we're noticing, guys. Thank you.
100%. Well, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Do see some of the best viewership numbers at this time of year. It's really interesting to see, obviously, because of that, and as well as the participation. Really cool to see that we're in the middle of North American summer, and we just had an event with 352 starters across all of the categories and over 85 A category riders jumping in here. Great to see. Nice job to everybody. If you do want to check out the results for the GC, head on over to sisu.racing. Click on that GC. You can see everything that's going on there. They have separated out across the A, B, C, and D categories. A women's overall as well across A, B, C, and D categories. Big shout out to SISU. Everything that they're doing in the community. Tomorrow's the wrap. We'll be back for Chasing Tour, Chasing Yellow. That'll be happening on Friday. And then our next time up with SISU will be on July 11th next week. And we're also covering the women's series. Prior to that, you got doubleheader broadcasts, 12:30 Central Time, followed up by the SISU Racing, 2 p.m. Central Time. Lots going on here on ZCL throughout the month of July. But besides that, we'll see you for the wrap tomorrow. And Dave, thanks a lot for jumping in with us out here today. It's been absolutely awesome. And if you haven't done so already, we've been live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure to hit those follow buttons there. And also, you can check all this stuff out over at ZwiftCommunityLive.com. From Dave and myself, as always, ride on.